fire can turn on you quickly.
This is where the backburn and the fire are meeting.
What you want to watch here are the embers and see which way they go.
The fire's gonna hit here, guys. You better get out.
Uh-oh, we're in trouble.
Okay, Chuck.
Okay,
Throw this stuff in.
Go. Just drive. Drive. Come on, drive.
When I tell you it was a wall of flames, I'm not kidding you. I could see nothing in front of me except thick smoke.
Hey, get in my truck. Get in the truck. My God.
The van caught fire.
Bringing you the latest information requires the best technology.
We have created industry standards. There is the split screen effect.
And the chroma key, which allows background changes. And that's not all.
That's a newswire machines, typewriters, lots of swearing, cigarette smoking.
I'll never forget the clack, clack, clack detectors.
We are getting computerized around here, you see.
Channel 4 was one of the first newsrooms to go to computer. And, then I realized they were the first to do a lot of things.
Okay. First to broadcast live from the ocean. That's Florence Chadwick's Swim to Catalina. First to broadcast both color and aerial images of the Rose Parade. In 1974, we added our own chopper, bringing you powerful images from the air.
That's law enforcement. When I first started doing this, we were using film.
There was no live camera crew. We used to run out and we'd shoot things on film, and we'd have to race it back on a motorcycle. It's laughable of how we used to get on the air.
And now we're digital. You can get the news anywhere. You can get it on your phone, you can get it on your computer.
The whole media landscape is being transformed, and I'm not sure anybody really knows what it's going to look like in a couple of years.
A lot of the breaking news stories we see people taking out their cell phones, taking pictures and emailing them to us. Some of the technologies that now exist, such as Twitter and Flickr, have people immediately becoming their own reporters.
Channel 4 has multiple ways to communicate with you immediately, like traditional Channel 4, our NBC LA website, and digital channel News Raw.
Tom's War, McCallum Medina with you here on Digital 4.2.
In our traditional broadcast, we can do only so much. News Raw allows us a third dimension, where a reporter can talk about how she got to this point.
We have the raw video as it came into our newsroom.
What intrigues me is this next generation of the I want it now, and I want it just for me.
We had no idea where television was going to go. There's something out there, but I have no idea what it is.
Never lose fact that it started in a little box. This is a broadcast station, which means it broadcasts to everybody from a little tower up on Mount Wilson.
Television brings people together. There'll be nothing to replace that.
I'm Paul Moyer.
And I'm Colleen Williams.
LAS4, good afternoon, everyone.
The FBI has pinned down the identification.
Jess Marlowe and Tom Snyder led the expansion of 15-minute local newscasts to 1 hour.
A federal grand jury in Washington has indicted 11 members of the Church of Scientology.
He was the king of this place for many years, sort of the Walter Cronkite of Los Angeles news.
Tom Snyder changed the face of local news.
The first belongs to Mr. Jerry Hansen. He is the editor-in-chief.
Tom was funny. Tom was caustic.
He would talk through that lens right at you.
Patrick Healy is live.
With top anchors, Channel 4 launched the first 4 p.m. and 6 a.m. newscasts in the country.
This is Today in LA.
Today in LA, if you look back at the people who have been a part of the program, they're all top-notch individuals.
This is News for LA at 4.
It was an unpioneered territory for a while.
The audience was different. The audience was primarily female.
We just had a great time.
But it's what Channel 4 didn't cover that turned the tide again.
That was the decision by management not to cover the car chases.
You know what? We've survived. And you know what? You see fewer of those on other people's air.
Just residual showers in the local mountains.
A key attraction, of course, is weather.
I was between the weathermen that had to write backwards with a grease pencil on plexiglass and make the smiley sun face, and the
weathermen that worked with computers.
That was the drill. You had to write backwards on a piece of glass.
There was none of this computerized stuff. We were all excited when technology gave us the black and white still satellite shot.
Our latest satellite photo shows that area of clouds in our part of the state.
It's amazing how the technology is advancing.
The thing out here is when there is weather, it's pretty important weather. It's hard to have rain without slide.
The living room was transformed into a channel for the muddy hillside runoff, almost taking a love seat with it.
And it's hard to have dry winds without fires.
It's hard to believe that someone actually lived here.
Even though there's not a lot of weather in Southern California, I serve a very important function, and that is to be the palate cleanser between the tragedy and the sports.
Time now for News Light, the epicenter of American news.
And everything I do today is built on the 5 years I spent here. You learn a lot sitting at that desk.
How are you?
Pat Sajak left Channel 4 to host Wheel of Fortune. Kelly Lang continues to write her best-selling books. It's one of the country's most watched news stories.
You charged us hard-earned money.
Undercover with our investigative team. Sticky situations caught on tape. As we celebrate 60 years of television.
Congratulations to everyone at NBC4, and I mean everybody. Colleen, Paul, Fritz, Fred, Peter, and Marcia, and Greg, and Cindy, and Jan, and...
You see the gunman dressed in black ski mask.
Remember where you were? North Hollywood, 1997. Armed for war. 2 bank robbers open fire. 17 people are hurt before the suspects are killed. Live on TV.
One of the nicest things about shopping by mail order.
Channel 4 becomes the center of news when a gunman takes over our set on the air.
He's got a gun to his back.
To say that it was scary doesn't even do it. It was surreal.
Folks, we have someone on the set who's standing here and would like me to read this copy which was just handed to me.
I see this gun, and it was huge.
You want to tell me your name or not? What is it? And Gary, where are you from?
I remember the text of the statement was completely off the wall.
These people, or whatever they are taking over the phone services right now. The CIA is either...
And then I start looking at the gun. I'm thinking, is that real?
There is no way I can harm anyone with this empty BB gun.
Nothing like it had ever been seen before. Live, on television, coast to coast.
Look out there. That's bad. That's bad.
The Symbionese Liberation Army decided to take on the Los Angeles Police Department.
Patty Hearst, of course, was kidnapped by the Symbionese Liberation Army.
There is a black male and 3 white females within the building, all armed, all firing.
About 1974, police got a tip that the SLA was in a house in Los Angeles. They start lobbing tear gas in there, trying to get them to come out. The house catches on fire. Nobody knows if Patty Hearst is in there or not.
Patty Hearst was not there, but in an Anaheim motel. 6 SLA members died. No officers were hurt.
That is the package that was underneath the bench.
Homegrown terrorism is captured again by Channel 4 crews.
There has been an explosion in Centennial Park that happened about 1:20 local time.
I actually witnessed the explosion. It was a large flashbang.
All of a sudden, you heard this boom.
You could feel the concussion in your chest.
And you could absolutely see the fear in everyone's face.
As many as 150 to 200 people were hurt.
That was an incredible event to cover. We had the exclusive on it, and it was NBC's deal.
The global spotlight was shining on Southern California in 1984. Los Angeles was host to the Olympic Games. Local athletes were ready for gold.
And who should handle the last leg of the journey? Well, none other than the Juice himself, O.J. Simpson.
When the Olympics came to L.A., there was concern, would traffic ruin it?
The smog would be awful and the athletes would be choking.
It was clear sailing when we checked earlier this afternoon.
The freeways were never more open. The air seemed to be a little bit better.
You could feel the sense of community, the sense of patriotism as the Americans performed in those games.
Like Southern California native diver Greg Louganis.
In 1984, having the Olympic Games in my own backyard, yeah, there was a lot of pressure. My goal was to win 2 gold medals.
It was very galvanizing, and I think for a moment, unifying for the city.
If you're hiring undocumented workers here.
Channel 4's right here. Well, they caught us on camera.
Team 4 reports.
The spirit of investigative reporting has a long history at Channel 4.
We have done what we're supposed to do, which is to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable.
To conduct our investigation, we wired 2 test cars with hidden cameras.
Jiffy Lube is a household name, and we caught them doing what consumers suspected they were doing, but could never prove themselves.
There was a camera in here watching you the whole time.
The internet can now deliver our stories to millions of people, and they'll get the benefit of our hard work.
Hey, where are you going? That's my car.
Hidden camera investigation we did on tow truck companies illegally towing people made a lot of changes.
As a result of our investigation, Congress last year passed a bill giving states more control over tow trucks.
We've gone after some very powerful interests in this city, and we paid a price for it.
Its work honored with awards, including a prestigious Peabody for the Playa Vista project.
How much of a danger is there for them?
It's an enormous amount of gas surfacing out there.
One of the most recent investigations I did uncovered how the drinking fountains at LAUSD, many of them were giving off an unsafe amount of lead. It was an important story that was right in front of us all these years, but it hadn't been uncovered.
I'd love one day for Joel and I to work on one story. Joel's at the front door, I'm at the back door, and we got him.
We're gonna do it.
That's life.
Straight from the Channel 4 archives,
That's what all the people say.
Frank Sinatra.
Bad hair, bad clothes.
Hairstyles, big and small. Plus, what was that? Surprise moments as we celebrate 60 years of television. Next.
Happy 60th anniversary, NBC4. I hope you'll continue to enjoy my young advertiser-friendly demographic for years to come.
I accept the nomination of the Democratic Party.
1960, the LA Coliseum. Senator John Kennedy is elected the Democratic presidential candidate. For 60 years, we've brought you events that have shaped our community.
In and for the city of Los Angeles.
Mayor Tom Bradley's election broke the color barrier.
I look at a lot of the development that has taken place in Hollywood and East Los Angeles, and that's his legacy.
Intense political standoffs have filled our streets. Peaceful marches appealed for change.
We are poor and we are powerless.
He was truly one of the most incredible Californians of the 20th century.
For decades, viewers have relied on our weekly political analysis on News Conference.
There wasn't a major political figure in America who didn't have to stop at KNBC to be interviewed by me or Bob Abernathy.
Ronald Reagan was among them. So was Gerald Ford and other presidential hopefuls.
So our guest, Senator Edward Kennedy, Democrat of Massachusetts.
We try to break it down so people understand what policy impacts their neighborhood.
This is a moment from 1967.
You know, Ronald Reagan's traveling in
Hollywood's A-list fundraised. There's Bob Hope, Dean Martin, and Frank Sinatra.
I've been up and down and over and out, and I know the thing.
It would take 3 campaigns to put him in the White House.
We want Reagan! We want Reagan! We want Reagan!
34 years later, we would report his death.
The hearse comes out with the flags. It was really sad.
There's always been a commitment here to telling stories that are relevant to the community.
Exploring critical issues like immigration, fears of terrorism, homelessness.
It's hard living without a stove or a fridge.
People did not understand before that special how many homeless children there were.
Southern California is a huge place. They need a way to tie themselves together, and we are part of that mechanism.
Commitment to community took root early. Children's shows and fire safety.
How much is a forest worth?
Space exploration. There were star-studded specials like I Am an American Day with Johnny Mathis, Lorne Green, and Edward G. Robinson. Coverage of the spectacular cultural events that continue today.
For the next 30 minutes, we'll explore the rich, colorful lives of California's native people.
Think of the incredible number of communities from around the world that have come to Los Angeles and said, this is where I want to live.
NBC4 presents Fiesta Broadway.
The Sunday show explored those communities
We did it 90 Minutes Live every Sunday in a different location.
Big names would drop by. Johnny Carson, Lucille Ball.
She couldn't have been nicer. It was fantastic.
Community involvement extends beyond our studios, like our highly popular and free health fair.
Last year we reached 73,000 people who might not otherwise get treatment.
In a selfish way, I think it helps the viewers connect to our station.
Community outreach is the best part of my job.
Connection to community also extends through Dr. Bruce's medical reports.
Susan has type 1 diabetes. Her body does not make insulin.
Being a physician journalist, I have the opportunity to give the information and give you the ability to use it in a way so that it won't frighten you.
That was never more true than with AIDS.
Because of the HIV virus that I have attained, I will have to retire from the Lakers.
Everybody was shocked. Everybody was worried. If he can get it, he looks so healthy, and how could I get it?
A landmark AIDS series helped ease fears.
But the words for goodbye have not yet been found.
I remember the last day before Don died. There were these kids going to school, and it was so, a poignant moment because life and death.
Laurel's report earned KNBC's first Peabody Award.
It is those powerful images that linger in the soul of Southern California. Here now is a look at other memorable moments that we have brought you.
The shuttle mission will launch. My God, there's been an explosion.
We're the only station live on the air when the Challenger space shuttle exploded.
A shaken Jess Marlowe reported the crash of our news chopper.
Francis Gary Powers died doing what he liked to do. But that's small comfort for us.
For veteran reporter Fernell Chapman, one story struck deep.
My perhaps most difficult assignment was Katrina. Sorry.
Many have lost their homes. Others have lost more than their homes. They have lost their lives.
And that's my hometown. I got to see it firsthand.
There's also stories that inspire.
Like Marino Angulo.
I got to do something with my life.
He was just 15 years old and was taking care of all of his brothers and sisters. When I ran into Marino Angulo, he was teaching at the high school where he graduated. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
How are you?
Ay, Dios mío de la vida.
Marino, who inspired our Beating the Odds series, wanted to surprise Linda and thank viewers for helping him achieve his dream of college.
Look at the result. That is probably one of the best things that can happen to a journalist.
And there was the baby trapped by war.
I'm about to go to Beirut, and I get a call from a couple in Chatsworth that says, will you bring our baby back from Beirut? They had adopted a Lebanese orphan.
I felt like John Beard was our only hope.
I checked with the lawyer in Beirut and was able to bring the baby back.
Merry Christmas.
To see it and be helpful in some way was pretty overwhelming.
It's live TV. Gaffes, goofs, and belly laughs when we return with our 60th anniversary celebration. But first, this look back at the station football team.
I have only the best memories, and I feel deeply rooted to Southern California.
You ought to see the shoes. Oh, the shoes.
Bad hair, bad clothes.
Makeup, clothes, hair. It's all part of the job.
At 6:56, back to your money now.
I am amazed at the response we have received to your new hairstyle. What do you call that?
Air perm.
Air perm.
In Huntington Beach today.
Oh my goodness, I went red, I went long, I went short.
Others did too.
Yeah, when I first got out there, I had a huge fro.
In a word, the trial was bizarre.
A very young Fernell Chapman who sported an afro at the time, who had hair.
So did John Marshall.
Possibly even jail sentences.
Not everything goes according to plan on the air. We've dug up classic moments.
I happen to think that a reporter has an image, has a role to maintain.
Ta-da! The guys here decided I should be Shirley Temple.
Your water?
It's almost brown.
You better check your pipes, David.
Well, it's not the pipes. Kelly, I beg your pardon. My pipes are not rusting out.
Ugly muck that stuck to everything, even this reporter.
So Connors took his rackets, thanked the referee, and left.
And Jimmy Connors took his balls and went home.
You might say that.
The reporter has no real room for levity.
How's your chair?
Well, my chair's going up and down. I'm a little bit short tonight. I can't seem to get the chair up.
I got my lollipop, I got my shoes, I got my socks, and I have my pink panties.
Dozens of undocumented aliens into custody. Patrick Healy joins us now. He's got a report. He's in our newsroom. Patrick?
Actually, Kelly, I'm up with you.
Sunny and very hot for most of the weekend, with the exception of the southeastern states. Let me get some sand in there.
He should maintain a certain dignity, a certain decorum.
Whenever I would do a political story on one of Tom Snyder's news programs, I would always turn to him and say, well, Tom, as you know. The fact is, he didn't know.
I'm not having my period. I'm not upset. For the last couple of years, people have written this station, they've called into KNBC. Beginning Monday night in this time period, this chair will be occupied by Paul Moyer. And said that Paul Moyer looks something like Tom Snyder, or there's a similarity in the deliveries. That's ridiculous. And I'm here to tell you that's not true tonight, November 21st, 1974.
There are simply some things a reporter does not do or say, and Tom Snyder has never learned that lesson.
Okay, did all of that really happen here?
Are you kidding me? Many times over.
Yes, you're right. We had some special moments, and we shared them all with you.
Southern California is indeed a very special place that we are happy to call home.
And we thank you for allowing us to be part of your family for the past 60 years.
And in the future, we look forward to remaining your trusted friend. So for now, for the entire NBC4 family, we thank you and good night.
God willing, this station will always be special to the people of Los Angeles.
60 years means that we've got some history together.
To do this work, you have to have a genuine love of people.
I am thankful every day that I had the opportunities that I had.
This place has given me the opportunity to tell tens of thousands of stories.
KNBC continues to do a great job and become a real important part of what's going on here in Southern California.
There is a commitment from this station to make sure we cover the right story.
I guess it's impossible for an inanimate object to have a soul, but the station really does have a soul, and it's the people.
God bless them all. They're wonderful folks, and I miss them.
I walked into an environment that was exceptional for a young sportscaster.
When I walk into the studios at 3000 West Alameda Boulevard in Burbank, I feel like I'm home again.
I love Los Angeles and I love California so much that it hurts. And I have loved KNBC television news so much that it hurts. Please don't forget me, else I can't come home again. Goodbye.